Have you ever considered that a simple choice in your kitchen could be quietly increasing your risk of a stroke, particularly at night, while you remain completely unaware? It may sound dramatic, but it's a medical reality. For those of us over 60, our blood vessels lose the resilience of youth. They don't bounce back as they once did. The foods we consume, especially something as seemingly harmless as cheese, can either become a quiet guardian of our circulatory system or push it toward a dangerous edge. Now, this doesn't mean you need to give up cheese forever, but it does mean that the type of cheese you eat matters far more than most people realize. Some of the most common cheeses enjoyed every day are laden with sodium, unhealthy fats, and additives that can stiffen arteries, elevate blood pressure, and yes, even trigger a stroke while you are sound asleep. But there is good news. There are 4 gentle, heart-friendly cheeses that can actually support your blood vessels, help keep your brain sharp, and still delight your palate. All it takes is a small, informed change, and I'm here to guide you through it. So I'm curious to know, what's the one cheese you find yourself reaching for most often? Is it cheddar, cream cheese, or perhaps something else entirely? Let me know in the comments if you tend to prefer soft cheeses or if you gravitate toward firmer varieties. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, because when it comes to protecting our hearts and minds after 60, every choice counts. Now, let's take a closer look at which cheeses could be undermining your health, and which ones you should embrace to keep your blood vessels strong. We'll begin with a cheese that resides in nearly every American refrigerator: processed cheese. You know the ones, those neatly wrapped yellow slices, or the gooey spread that comes in a jar. They are convenient, melt beautifully, and have been a staple of quick lunches and late-night snacks for decades. But here is the detail we often overlook. Processed cheese isn't truly cheese. It's more of a science experiment with dairy as a base. A single slice can contain over 300 milligrams of sodium. If you stack a couple on a sandwich, you've suddenly consumed a third of your recommended daily salt limit. For someone over 60, this is a significant concern. Our blood vessels naturally become less elastic with age, so when we introduce too much salt into our system, our blood pressure rises, forcing our arteries to work overtime. The result is a greater chance of hypertension, and for many, a higher risk of stroke, especially during the night when blood pressure can spike without warning. But the issue isn't just salt. Processed cheeses are also filled with saturated fats and emulsifiers, which contribute to the buildup of plaque in your arteries. The American Heart Association has consistently warned that diets high in saturated fat are closely linked to atherosclerosis, a condition where your arteries narrow and harden, restricting blood flow to the brain. A study published in the journal Hypertension found that older adults with a high intake of sodium and saturated fat had a 35% higher risk of silent strokes, those that you don't even feel until the damage is revealed later. So, what's the alternative? Start by checking your fridge. If you see a pack of individually wrapped cheese slices, consider replacing them with a more natural option. You don't have to quit cheese entirely, but choosing varieties with lower sodium and no artificial additives can protect your heart and brain more than you might imagine. Let's move on to another popular cheese that might surprise you with its risks. It's tangy, bold, and often considered a sophisticated flavor, one that many of us develop a taste for later in life. But while its complex flavor can be tempting, especially on salads or crackers, blue cheese comes with hidden dangers that those over 60 should be aware of. What makes blue cheese unique is its mold, specifically the penicillium cultures that create its signature veins. But along with that powerful flavor comes a compound called tyramine. Tyramine is naturally found in aged foods, and it is known to affect blood pressure. For those with sensitive vascular systems, or who are on certain medications like MAO inhibitors, tyramine can cause dangerous spikes in blood pressure. A study in the Journal of Clinical Hypertension showed that individuals over 60 who consumed high tyramine diets were more likely to experience sudden increases in blood pressure, sometimes within hours of eating. Combine that with already weakened or narrowed arteries, and you have the recipe for what doctors call a hypertensive crisis, a medical emergency that can lead directly to a stroke or heart attack. On top of that, blue cheese is relatively high in saturated fat. While not as processed as cheese slices, it still contributes to unhealthy cholesterol levels when eaten regularly. If you already have a history of high blood pressure or vascular inflammation, the added fat and tyramine can tip the scales in the wrong direction. This doesn't mean you can never enjoy it again, but moderation is crucial. And for many, especially if you're noticing your blood pressure creeping up, it might be safest to avoid it altogether. So the next time you're creating a salad or a cheese board, think twice before reaching for that blue-veined wedge. There are better, gentler options for your blood vessels, and we'll get to those shortly. But first, there's another creamy favorite we need to discuss. It's smooth, rich, and a breakfast staple for millions, especially when spread thick on a warm bagel. But if you're over 60 and reaching for cream cheese every morning, it's time to pause and consider what it might be doing to your heart and arteries. Unlike harder cheeses, cream cheese contains very little protein and almost no calcium. Instead, it's composed mostly of saturated fat. Just 2 tablespoons, about the amount you'd spread on 1/2 of a bagel, can contain over 9 grams of fat, the majority of which is saturated. And here is the problem. When your diet is high in saturated fat and low in beneficial nutrients, your LDL cholesterol, the bad kind, can begin to climb. Research from the National Institutes of Health shows that elevated LDL cholesterol in older adults is a major predictor of atherosclerosis, the fatty deposits that line your arteries. When those arteries are in your brain or around your heart, it puts you at direct risk for a stroke or heart disease. What's more, because cream cheese is often eaten with refined carbohydrates like white bread or bagels, it can cause a spike in blood sugar, followed by a dip. This can leave you feeling tired, foggy, or even dizzy. That foggy-headed feeling after breakfast might be more than just a poor night's sleep. I understand that letting go of a favorite comfort food isn't easy, but you don't have to say goodbye forever. Instead, try swapping it for a lighter, protein-rich spread like whipped cottage cheese or even ricotta with some fresh herbs. You'll still get that creamy texture, but with far more nutritional support for your brain and circulation. All right, we have one more cheese to be cautious about, particularly if you're a fan of all-American classics. Let's talk about American cheese. The bright yellow slices that melt perfectly on burgers, grilled sandwiches, and scrambled eggs. It's practically a symbol of comfort food in the US. But if you're over 60, this familiar favorite might be doing more harm than good to your blood vessels. First, let's be clear. American cheese isn't really cheese in the traditional sense. It's what's known as a processed cheese product, made from a blend of milk, whey, emulsifiers, food colorings, preservatives, and a small amount of real cheese. The result is something that tastes creamy and melts beautifully, but offers very little nutritional value. One slice of American cheese can contain up to 400 milligrams of sodium and nearly 5 grams of saturated fat. But what's even more concerning are the synthetic additives. Some of these, like phosphates and emulsifiers, have been linked to inflammation in the blood vessels, which over time can weaken the arterial walls. For older adults, that means a higher chance of developing vascular issues that can lead to cognitive decline or stroke. A recent review in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition pointed out that people who consumed more processed cheese had a significantly higher risk of cardiovascular disease compared to those who chose natural cheeses. The reason isn't just the fat or salt. It's how these artificial compounds affect your entire vascular system. So if you're using American cheese daily, it might be time to reconsider. Instead, opt for a slice of fresh mozzarella or even goat cheese. These alternatives not only offer more nutrition, but also support brain function and circulation without the chemical overload. And speaking of better options, it's time we shift gears to the good news. The 4 cheeses that can actually help protect your health, nourish your body, and even reduce your risk of stroke. Let's start with one that's creamy, light, and full of benefits for your muscles and blood pressure. Ricotta. This soft, mild cheese doesn't just taste good, it actively works with your body to support better health after 60. Unlike the processed cheeses we just covered, ricotta is made by reusing the whey left over from cheese production. This is important because whey is loaded with high-quality protein that your body absorbs easily, which is especially crucial as we age and begin to lose muscle mass more quickly. Just half a cup of ricotta delivers around 14 grams of protein, including a rich supply of amino acids that help with muscle repair. Stronger muscles support better balance and movement, reducing your risk of falls. Even more importantly, ricotta's high protein content can help regulate blood pressure. Another benefit is its naturally low sodium content, often as little as 50 milligrams per serving. This means you get all the flavor and texture without pushing your daily salt intake over the edge. And let's not forget the calcium. Ricotta is rich in this essential mineral, which not only supports bones, but also helps regulate the contraction and relaxation of your blood vessels. Think of it as a gentle buffer against blood pressure spikes. How can you add it to your day? Try a scoop of ricotta on whole grain toast, mix it into scrambled eggs, or blend it with herbs and lemon juice for a heart-healthy spread. You'll be feeding your body and protecting your brain, all without sacrificing taste. Next, we'll move on to a cheese that's light, fresh, and surprisingly powerful for your circulation. Cottage cheese. Often overlooked, it's one of the most nutrient-packed options you can keep in your fridge. Its mild flavor and creamy texture make it incredibly versatile. But it's what's inside that makes it truly special for your heart and brain. Cottage cheese is rich in casein, a slow-digesting protein that helps you feel full longer and stabilizes your blood sugar. Stable blood sugar means less strain on your circulatory system, reducing the inflammation and oxidative stress that can prematurely age your arteries. What's more, a single cup of low-fat cottage cheese can provide about 28 grams of protein with only a modest amount of fat. And unlike many processed cheeses, it also contains significant levels of vitamin B12 and selenium. These 2 nutrients are crucial for brain function and vascular health. B12 helps maintain healthy red blood cells and nerve function, while selenium acts as a powerful antioxidant, shielding your blood vessels from damage caused by free radicals. In fact, a 2020 study in the journal Nutrients found that older adults with higher intakes of selenium had better endothelial function, that is, the health of the thin layer of cells lining your blood vessels. When your endothelium works well, your arteries stay more flexible, allowing blood to flow smoothly and reducing stroke risk. Cottage cheese is also low in sodium if you choose the right version. Always look for low sodium or no salt added labels at the store. One of the easiest ways to enjoy it is with a bowl of fresh berries and a sprinkle of ground flaxseed for a satisfying breakfast. Now let's turn to a cheese that's easy to digest and might just surprise you with its brain-boosting power. Goat cheese. This creamy, slightly tangy option is not only easier to digest, but also surprisingly good for your brain and energy levels. As we age, our digestion can become more sensitive. Goat cheese shines here. It contains less lactose than cow's milk cheese, making it gentler on your stomach. This alone can help reduce bloating, which in turn eases pressure on your gut and vascular system. But the real secret to goat cheese lies in its fat content, specifically medium-chain triglycerides, or MCTs. These are a type of fat that your body quickly converts into energy, especially for your brain. Studies from the Journal of Nutrition show that MCTs can help improve cognitive performance in older adults. So when you eat goat cheese, you're not just supporting your heart, you're fueling your brain. Another plus, goat cheese is rich in bioavailable calcium and phosphorus, both of which are vital for keeping your blood vessels strong and responsive. It also contains compounds called oligosaccharides, which act as prebiotics. These feed the good bacteria in your gut, helping to reduce systemic inflammation, a hidden factor behind many strokes and vascular diseases. If you've never tried it, start small. Crumble a bit over a salad, spread it on whole grain crackers, or pair it with roasted vegetables. It's creamy, satisfying, and your blood vessels will thank you. Let's finish with one more cheese that's soft, fresh, and quietly working wonders for your arteries. Last, but certainly not least, let's talk about fresh mozzarella. Not the shredded kind in a bag, but the soft, white rounds you find packed in water. This cheese isn't just delicious, it's one of the gentlest choices you can make for your heart and blood vessels. Compared to processed or aged cheeses, it contains far less salt, often under 200 milligrams per ounce. That's a significant win for anyone watching their blood pressure. And remember, when your blood pressure stays within a healthy range, you dramatically lower your risk of stroke. But fresh mozzarella isn't just low in sodium, it's also rich in probiotics, the friendly bacteria that support gut health. And why should that matter to your heart? Because emerging research is showing a powerful connection between gut health and vascular inflammation. A study in the journal Frontiers in Cardiovascular Medicine revealed that older adults with more diverse gut bacteria had lower levels of arterial stiffness and better overall circulation. By including probiotic-rich foods like fresh mozzarella in your diet, you are helping to calm the systemic inflammation that quietly damages your arteries over time. This cheese also provides calcium and a modest amount of protein, making it a great choice for maintaining muscle tone and bone strength. An easy way to enjoy it? Slice some fresh mozzarella, pair it with ripe tomatoes and a drizzle of olive oil, And you have a simple caprese salad that is as heart-healthy as it is delicious. Now that you've met the 4 worst and 4 best cheeses for your health, it's time to tie everything together. You don't have to give up cheese to protect your heart. You just have to choose the right kind. A small change, like swapping a slice of processed cheese for a spoonful of ricotta, can make a real difference. These choices support your blood vessels, steady your blood pressure, and give your brain the nourishment it needs to stay sharp. After 60, every bite matters a little more. But the beauty is, you are still in control. You can enjoy the foods you love and care for your health, one mindful choice at a time. So, if you've found a new cheese you'd like to try, or one you'll now think twice about, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Let's support each other on this journey. And don't forget to subscribe for more simple, science-backed ways to stay strong, sharp, and thriving. We're in this together.